Hey y'all, I'm Dr. Cindy McGovern, and I am the CEO of Orange Leaf Consulting and drcindy.com. And I'm also an author. I had my first book come out last year called Every Job is a Sales Job. And I live in San Francisco, California with my husband and our dog Biscuit. But I'm originally from the Space Coast. I grew up right there in Brevard County in Satellite Beach. And I went to Satellite High School and then on to Florida State University. So I'm a Florida girl. At Florida State, I majored in communication and absolutely loved it. I loved college. I loved everything about it. I was very involved on campus. I taught fitness at the gym there, and I fully embraced everything about college. It was awesome. And towards the end of my 4 year degree, I decided I wanted more. So I went in for a master's degree in mass communication. And there I really focused on leadership, communication with managers, interpersonal communication, and found that I absolutely loved it. I wanted even more of that, and I wanted to help others with it. So I decided to go for a PhD because I thought I wanted to be a teacher. So I wanted to be a college professor, and my PhD program was organizational communication, which is a third psychology, a third business, and a third communication. And it was awesome. I was able to go out into the community and actually do some consulting projects with companies and organizations. I had amazing professors. It was a fantastic, very hard, but fantastic journey. And I learned so very much. And I was student teaching during my doctoral program, and that led me right into teaching college. And so after my graduation, I moved to Tennessee, and I was teaching community college for a little while and then went into the university system and was a university teacher. And during the summer, I started consulting. And I really found a passion for that. I liked helping sort of that adult population, the folks that maybe didn't get a chance to go to college, or maybe they had, but they didn't learn that particular skill set that I was teaching them, which was really about communicating more effectively with others. And I loved it. And so I realized I needed to be in consulting full time. But what's funny is that led me to where I am today, which is I went into consulting full time, moved out to San Francisco, was with a firm for 4 years, and then decided to go out on my own. But my firm is a little bit different. We now focus on helping companies to grow their business. And when we do that, it is all those things that I learned in my communication degree, but it really does focus in the area of sales. And if you had told me back when I was at Florida State University that I was going to be in sales, much less be known as the first lady of sales, I'd have told you you were nuts, because I wanted nothing to do with sales. I thought sales was this horrible, icky thing. I was like, oh, I can't be pushy. I'm nice. I'm from the South. Like, I don't do that. And I had this horrible misconception of what sales was. And so that was actually what brought me to write the book. And that's why it's called Every Job is a Sales Job, how to use the art of selling to win at work, because no matter what your job is, you're selling. A job interview is nothing more than you selling yourself. When you're asking a colleague to cover for you on a project, that's sales. When you're getting your sister or brother to, do your chores for you, that's sales. I mean, we are selling all day, every day. But I didn't know that back when I was in college. And if I had, I probably would have taken a sales class. But that really led me to want to help others in that realm too. So that's what Orange Leaf does, is we work with companies to help them grow their business by focusing on sales and sales process. And we basically help every single person to know what they can do to help the bottom line, help the company grow, serve customers better. But it all came from the journey that I had starting from college. Is if I hadn't gone through all of that, I wouldn't have gotten to where I am today, and all those twists and turns to figure out really what turned out to be my life's passion. My days are anything but typical. They are different depending on the time of year, depending on the season, depending on the day of the week, very much up and down. I am on the road a ton. I am on the road probably about 70% at a minimum. So that means, in fact, this sheltering in place thing is kind of funny. My husband and I counted it up, and I have now been home for 40 days as of tomorrow. And that will be the longest stretch that I've been home in 15 years. So kind of funny. So I'm definitely a road warrior, but I love it. I absolutely love getting out and seeing clients. And so most of the work that we do is if we're client facing, we're doing workshops, we're doing strategy sessions, and we're doing coaching with them where we're helping them to take what we teach about growing their business and being more strategic and involving their staff, and we teach them how to do what we do. Our goal is to leave them better than we found them. And we want the leaders to be able to do this without us. So it's really focused on the leaders themselves. We do work with the rest of the staff, we do work with the sales team, but it's really much focused on the leadership to help them be able to continue the trajectory when Orange Leaf is out of the picture. And then on the Dr. Cindy side, that's the speaker author brand, and that has been really focused on mostly media stuff, guest articles that I'm writing, interviews in different magazines. There was an interview in Forbes that came out this week, and so those take time, scheduling those and having conversations and then approving them, and it's been really fun. I feel really blessed that I've been able to do some of these things and some fun radio interviews and stuff like that. But the book signings are really fun too, where you get to go out and you usually give a speech. I do a lot of keynote speaking, so you give a speech and then you do book signing, but you get to hear people's stories, and that's always really exciting for me to hear how people are going to take what I've just talked about and apply it in their own lives. I mean, the book is every job is a sales job, and how to use that to win at work. And so I always like to hear how people are going to take this and do something to help them get more of what they want and they deserve at work or even in their own life. And it's really, really fun. So with everything going on in the world right now and the coronavirus and social distancing, there's a lot of talk of gosh, how business is changing and evolving because of this. But what's kind of funny is we are a virtual company, and I set it up that way. I wanted folks to be able to live wherever they wanted to live, raise their families wherever they wanted to, and not have to be here in San Francisco. So for 11 years, we've been a remote workforce. And so it was funny when everybody started shifting to working from home, and they're kind of freaking out about it. And we're like, we know how to do this. What do you need? We'll help you. And it's been interesting because I sit in San Francisco, but to give you an example, my assistant lives in Maine. So she had started with me, and she did live here at the time, and then she moved to Utah, and then she lived to Maine. And I said, look, as long as you got internet and a phone, you still got a job. So it's been really interesting, but we've been able to attract really cool talent to be part of our team because of that too, I think. And so the social distancing hasn't affected us as much as it's affected our clients. But the funny thing about it is more people are using video now, and we're video based. We don't mind at all. We've done Zoom calls for years, but most of our clients are now doing virtual Zoom calls and video calls, and that's actually been really fun because you get to see them even though you're not in person. But I'll be honest with you, that also creates kind of Zoom fatigue, or they call it the Zoom gloom, where you're on the screen all day, every day. So that's actually been a bit of a challenge, as I'm used to being in front of people. I'm used to being on stage, I'm used to being on, but being on the screen is a little bit different. So that's been interesting. But on a regular day, a lot of my work, if I'm not on the road, is over the phone anyways. So that hasn't been a huge shift for us, but it has been a little bit harder just being at home. I mean, I love being home. I love being with my husband and my dog, and it's amazing. And like I said, it's been years since I've been home this stretch, but I do get a little bit antsy to get back out on the road. And I was actually on a coaching call with a client earlier today, and he was asking if I was just jumping out of my skin yet to get back on the stage. And I was like, yeah, kind of. So I do miss that a lot, but I'm still able to help people even from a distance and through the phone and over video conferencing. We also do a lot of webinars, so those have stepped up quite a bit in this age of COVID too, where people are wanting more of those. I've been doing them for about 14 years, I guess, and we're very comfortable with those, so folks are kind of embracing that. And funny enough, some of the conferences that I was going to be speaking at have moved to virtual conferences, and I've spoken at those as well, so I feel really excited that some of these industries that haven't done virtual work before are going to do that. And the reason I'm excited is because I think it provides a little bit more accessibility. To attend a conference, even if you're a member of that association, it's expensive. You have to pay for your flight, you have to pay for your hotel, you have to feed yourself. I mean, even if your company is paying for it, it's the cost of being away from your family and your loved ones. So it's a little bit expensive in both personally and in the purse pocket to attend those. And I think by doing virtual conferences, it actually allows accessibility to a lot of people that maybe couldn't otherwise attend. So I'm excited to help folks that maybe were not able to attend before because it was cost prohibitive, or they couldn't get folks to care for their kids or something like that. So I'm really, really excited about what opportunities might lie ahead. Sadly, they came from this pandemic, but hopefully they will provide some really cool opportunities for folks in the future. I really do believe a lot of positive can come out of this COVID situation. I mean, we are all in this together, and I know it's put a strain on a lot of families. It's really unfortunate, a lot of the things that are going on with layoffs, but I do think we'll be stronger for it at the end. And I think some of the positive things are the fact that we're really enjoying connecting with each other again. It's funny, I have friends that live all over the world, and now we're connecting on WhatsApp and we're chatting and having virtual coffee meetings and things like that. And it's kind of funny because we could have done this all along, we just didn't. And I think the fact that folks are kind of starved for human interaction during this is forcing us to go back to some of the basics and really be appreciative of the things that we do still have, even though we can't leave our homes. And one of the things we have is each other. So I'm really excited, and I hope that stays. I hope we continue to value those human interactions even after this is over and we go back to our very fast-paced lives. But folks have been asking, how are we weathering the storm? We are a business that is a consulting business, and a lot of times we're nice to have, not a need to have when it comes to the P&L. So folks are like, how is this going to affect the business? And I firmly believe that you always have to have a plan. I started this company at the bottom of the market, and I feel like we're going to be fine. We're going to be able to get through this because we always have a backup plan financially, both with the staff. I mean, all sorts of things. I'm sort of a planner. And so I'm not that worried about that, but there will be seasons. I mean, we will go through a little bit of a drought here simply because folks can't necessarily hire us at this time. But that's just changed the way we're focusing. We're just pumping out as much information as we can right now to help people. We're planting seeds for tomorrow. We're making sure that people know that we're here to help them through this. And I do believe it'll come back to me. I'm a big, firm believer in karma. I believe if you put it out there, it's going to come back to you eventually. And so that's really what we're focused on. But folks are saying, what are you doing with your downtime? And what's funny about that is I haven't had any. I've actually been working longer hours because we're trying to pump out so much information to help people through this. I'm writing guest articles and blogs and doing more interviews and more podcasts because folks are asking how their sales team is supposed to weather this. A lot of our clients, their sales teams can't go out and visit clients, so they're asking how they should be selling now. So we're doing a lot of work with them on that. But I think what's interesting about this for business as a whole is it's going to force people to think about the way they differentiate themselves as businesses. And they're going to have to think about how they show up in the world and how they really do connect with their customers. This has forced people who weren't technology forward to become that. It's forced people that weren't financially planning to recognize that was needed and was needed a long time ago, or who weren't even very, very strategic in their plans, having to plan differently. So I think that there are some, unfortunately, harder learned lessons in this, but I think we'll all be better for it at the end because we will have gotten through it. And, as I mentioned, I'm a big planner. Like, that's just sort of who I am. I always have been. I always have like a giant to-do list that's sitting right here next to me. But it's forced me to also plan a little bit differently because since I am home, this is a treat. I'm not usually home unless it's like the holiday season. So I've also been planning for downtime. My husband and dog and I take a walk each evening after work, and that's sort of how we end the day as a family, and it's really great. And so I've been enjoying that, and we're making dinner together at night and really just trying to savor the time that we do have, because we do know, I think it's going to be different after all of this, but we do know I will be back on the road. And so we're trying to take advantage of the time that we've got and spend it as much as we can together. And I'm also spending a lot of time just checking in on friends and other business owners that I know who are struggling through this. And so I'm trying to be a good friend to folks and help them. And I've been doing even some sort of unofficial coaching of friends, helping them through this and create a plan for themselves. So my schedule hasn't really changed. It's just that I'm not on an airplane doing these things. I just get to be at home with my husband and my dog, which is really great. But I do think that we can get through this. I do think we will be stronger for it as a world, as communities, as people. And I believe that everything does really happen for a reason. But some of those harder learned lessons that some generations get, I think you all right now have a huge opportunity to learn from this and be able to plan differently for your future, because you just never know what's going to happen. You know, if the economy goes great, it's wonderful, but we never know when something like this can occur. And so it's always making sure that you do have a plan B for your plan A. And I think that once you recognize what you want your plan to be, you'll start seeing unbelievable opportunities everywhere. And don't forget that people like to help other people. So share your plan with folks. Let them know what you're trying to accomplish in your life or in your career, and give them the gift of letting them help you. It feels really good to help other people. I'll just tell you, I made a whole career of it. And I think if you can let people know that, you will have many, many fans who want to help you be very successful in your life. And I wish you all the best and good luck to you.